Hi everyone and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, or welcome if you're new to my channel. Either way, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss any of my great horror content, and it would really help me out as well. So today, of course, we're going to take a look at a 1981 horror movie that we're going to review as part of my overall 1980s horror movie series. And this is a movie that I don't have the physical media for, from 1981, but I did watch it on YouTube. And that movie is Blood Beach from 1981. So let's talk about Blood Beach. So Blood Beach is a 1981 American horror film written and directed by Jeffrey Bloom and starring David Huffman, John Saxon, and Burt Young. The premise, conceived by Stephen Novansky, involves a creature lurking beneath the sand of Santa Monica Beach that attacks locals and vacationers. The film's tagline is, "Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, you can't get to it," which is actually one of the best things about this movie, that tagline, that quote. In the opening scene, a woman named Ruth is walking her dog on Los Angeles, California's Venice Beach and is suddenly pulled under the sand of the deserted beach by an unseen force. The woman's screams for help are heard by Harry Calder, a harbor patrol officer who is swimming nearby. Harry reports Ruth's disappearance to two LAPD detectives, Royko and Patandosol. Piandas. I don't know. Who claim that without a body, there's little they can do. The next day, Ruth's estranged daughter, Catherine, arrives from San Francisco after Harry calls her regarding her mother's disappearance. Meanwhile, the mysterious and crazed Mrs. Selden, who resides in an abandoned section of the Santa Monica Pier, witnesses the attack and disappearance and others throughout the film, but does not come forward. So yeah, that's the setup and the premise, the beginning of Blood Beach from 1981. As far as the cast goes, we have Daryl Fetty as Hoagie, Stefan Garach as Dr. Demetros, Mariana Hill as Catherine Hutton, David Huffman as Harry Calder, John Saxon as Captain Pearson, Burt Young as Sergeant Royko, and Otis Young as Lieutenant, that last name I can't pronounce, it starts with a P, Piandaski. I don't know. That's not right. But anyway, that's the setup, the premise, and the cast for the 1981 movie Blood Beach. I'd be lying to you if I said this movie wasn't a disappointment upon watching it. On the surface, the premise of it is pretty ridiculous, but also has the potential to be very fun and cheesy. But unfortunately, this movie doesn't go in that route. It kind of goes more of the boring detective route. But let's just go ahead and get into it. As usual, starting with the things that I liked about Blood Beach from 1981. And I have to say that the two performances and the two characters I really enjoyed were both Burt Young and John Saxon in the movie. Those two definitely give it some gravitas that the movie wouldn't have had otherwise. The characters provided some humor and interesting moments throughout, and it kept me more engaged than I otherwise would have been. And I thought, Burt Young, obviously most well known as Paulie from the Rocky movies. Of course, he did a lot of other things. And John Saxon's a horror legend, of course. Rest in peace to both of them. But I thought they were the best part of the movie, to be honest with you. Both their performances, them being in the movie, and their characters, like I said, giving the movie a little bit more gravitas and some humorous moments as well. That kept me engaged. Like I was saying earlier, the idea of a sand beach creature on the surface seemed fun and cheesy to me, despite being kind of an absurd premise, but they never... Well, I'm in my pros now. It kind of goes to show you where the rating for this movie is going to go at the end of the day. But it is an interesting premise on the surface, though kind of ridiculous. It's one that you kind of have to tune into, you would think, before actually watching it, just to see how it's going to play out from a cheesy way. The quote by John Saxon, as I mentioned, the tagline is terrific. One of the best parts of the movie. Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water, you can't get to it. I just love that. It's just so poetic for this movie, and clearly this is one of many movies during this time that was trying to rip off on the success of Jaws, the original, that came out 6 years earlier. There's no question about that. But yeah, I really love that quote. Overall, I thought the cast does a good job here. The acting's solid, not just by John Saxon and Burt Young, but Otis Young, Mariana Hill, and David Huffman are also good in their sort of main character kind of roles, I thought, as far as acting. Now, that doesn't mean all the characters are great. We'll get into that in a minute here, but the acting's solid. The best kill is probably the where the young lady's being attacked by a rapist below the pier, and then that rapist is crawling towards her, and he gets his junk ripped off. That's not just the best kill because of it's kind of justified and enjoyable, but also there's not a lot of gore or blood in this movie, but that's probably the one kill that actually does have some blood and gore to it. So that kill that's the one kill in the whole movie that kind of meets all the kill standards that you're looking for in a sort of creature features slash slasher movie, if you will. You know, the kill is just kind of, it's not necessarily unique, but it's justified. It's fitting because of what this guy was trying to do, and the fact that it's his junk that gets ripped off because of what he was trying to do, and the fact that it has some blood and gore makes it the best kill easily in this movie. And even with that, I still wouldn't put it on a top 50 kill of all time in horror movies, but for this movie, so yeah, those are my pros. I can't really find anything else, to be honest with you. As far as the cons go, the movie doesn't really execute on the premise at all. From being a fun, cheesy, gory idea or potential idea, instead, we get a pretty boring cop investigation that never really feels interesting or satisfying. It just kind of doesn't really go anywhere, and it's more boring than anything. There's not a lot of action in this movie. There's little to no gore in the movie other than the one kill I mentioned. Not much blood either. And the kills are pretty unremarkable. It's just like people are getting stuck and buried in quicksand. That's basically what the kills are. You don't really see anything. We don't see much of the creature until the end, and what we do see isn't much. Not that cool or interesting of a creature because we just don't really see it. We only see it close up, and clearly they didn't have much of a budget for this movie. I think they really could have done some things with this movie, but they either didn't have the budget or the want to. I don't know if because of some of the higher class actors that they have in this movie that they refuse to be in sort of a cheesy, gory movie. I don't know. But they really dropped the ball there. The main character of Catherine and Harry, well, the performances, as I said, were good by Mariana Hill and David Huffman. The characters are pretty pointless. They don't really do anything. Especially Harry, who's, I don't know, he's basically going to the cops for everything. He doesn't actually do anything on his own, except a little investigation under the pier where he finds this mysterious sort of place that nobody knew about. And then they have this love story that they try to rekindle. Apparently they were in a relationship. Who cares? I mean, I could have cared less during this movie. It doesn't add anything, and it's pointless. The movie's poorly written and poorly directed, with bad dialogue that really drags down the movie. And then finally, the ending has no build-up and makes little to no sense on how they blow up the creature, and then how they explain ahead of time that its pieces might regenerate, and of course that's what they do. So, I don't know, guys. Going into this movie, if you look at the cover, and obviously I don't have the physical media, it really had potential, I thought. I was actually excited to watch it. And it's probably why I'm being kind of hard on this movie in the review. But, man, every decision they made was the opposite of what could have been fun and entertaining for my money. Like I said, other than Burt Young and John Saxon, not really a big fan of this movie. I'm going to be honest about it. I don't necessarily have the need to rush out and buy the physical media for this movie. Maybe if I can get it for cheap. The cheapest I saw it right now was $14. I'm not paying that for what I saw. So, especially knowing I can watch it on YouTube if I do want to revisit. I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. And that still might sound a bit generous, but I think the fact that you have John Saxon and Burt Young that really do raise it up a level. Otherwise, it'd probably be a 5 out of 10, quite frankly. But the movie was also kind of hard to watch, the cinematography, but I'm not going to rip it too much for that because I watched it on YouTube. I don't know if the transfer on DVD or Blu-ray, I don't know if it even exists on Blu-ray. Somebody could comment down below, but I don't know if it looks better on physical media? Probably not, I'm guessing. It's kind of hard to see, especially the night scene. So I've ripped this movie enough. 6 out of 10 for Blood Beach. I apologize if you like it. Go ahead and comment down below, though, why you like it. Like, what works for you about this movie if you do like it. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel, as I mentioned earlier. Would help me out, and you also don't want to miss any of my great horror content, not just the rest of my 1981 movie reviews, but what I have coming out beyond that, which is quite a lot. So with that being said, I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay scared. Bye.